speaking to benevolent beings, and this is going to be probably more of a rant. Hopefully, try and make it short. I do my best to try and assist benevolent beings here. Benevolent beings who are being forcibly targeted and tortured. And, you know, hopefully I've been able to provide some amount of assistance. Personally, there are dead entities, parasites trying to possess. And especially within the last couple of days. I'll just say they've been really trying to possess. And I mean, I've used the things that I know to use. I do the methods and that I know of, and I use the tools that I know of. And most especially, I've been refusing consent, trying to, or working on releasing all forced technology, artificial frequencies, and the entities forcing those. I most especially refused consent, or refuse consent, to all the groups. The occult groups, the reptilians, the demons, what some would call archangels, and especially refuse consent to all archons and the demiurge. I'm just saying, I don't know if there's any benevolent beings out there experiencing the same forced bullshit. What I'm saying is, this is a farm, and parasites run it. It's not a place for benevolent beings. And because there has been no true benevolent intervention as of yet, you would think that with some of these forced experiences of torture, rape, and harm, that at some point benevolent assistance would intervene here. Like, I can hold my own. I can. But these bitches, with the use of their technology, because the reptilians outsource, right? They delegate to the occult groups. And the occult groups are willing to violate universal laws. And they're throwaways. They're patsies. The reptilians pick the ones, they pick ones to delegate to and to do their nasty on the fucking surface. And part of the reason why they pick those ones is because they're also throwaways. Patsies. They can be eliminated at any time. Because they're either already so compromised or because they're cloned out. This place is so fucking wrong. That it can't be I don't think there is language that can articulate the magnitude of wrong that this place is. And the fact that they use tech to try and obstruct correction, but continue to try and torture, rape, and harm. Like, there's got to be fucking remedy. There's got to be correction. There's got to be remedy. You can't trap beings in a place to torture, rape, and murder them over and over and over. Like, again, that's a wrong in where I don't think there's any language to articulate the magnitude of how wrong that is. And, I mean, the benevolent beings here are trying to evolve, or working to evolve, work on themselves, become the best version of themselves. Beings shouldn't be tortured, raped, and harmed for that. That's illogical. Nonsensical. That's insanity. So there must be correction. There must be remedy. Now I know these bitches are gonna burn. But, yeah. This shit doesn't need to be dragged out. Like, they need to burn, like, right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Or rather, yeah, they do need to burn tomorrow, next week, what have you. But what I'm saying is, today. Today would be great. Because of the, just because of what they're trying to do here. And because some of us know what the problem is, and we've identified the problem, and we've identified the solution. The solution is raising one's frequency and vibration higher than the malevolence, to then continue moving forward in evolution, either somewhere else or in a higher dimension. But I have a pretty strong feeling that these bitches have hijacked higher dimensions because of what they've raped from benevolent beings here. Like, again, why hasn't there been true benevolent intervention here? Like, what I'm saying is, if they're doing as the shit that they are doing here, or trying to do here, if they're also trying to do that elsewhere, can you see why there hasn't been benevolent intervention as of yet? And if they have hijacked higher dimensions? That's why I've always been a proponent of just taking responsibility for yourselves, in doing what you can to get yourselves out of here, and not to rely or sit around and wait for some other being to save you. Although the caveat to that is, you would think, with the horrificness that they're trying to force and do here, that at some point benevolent assistance would step in and say, okay, that's, there's a line that you can't cross, right? There are things that are just not allowed. And yet, no benevolent intervention has occurred as of yet. So, at this point, I just think this place is an abomination and has to be terminated. Taking with it all the malevolence, the parasites, the demons, all of the technology, devoid of everything that's been raped from benevolent beings. And of course, devoid of all benevolent beings and life force energy. And I would also encourage, if you are one who has been working with universal laws or asking for outside assistance, I think a question I'll rephrase, a question that could always be helpful is to ask, how many times have you refused consent for forced torture, rape, and harm? Or how many times have you refused consent to the reptilians? How many times have you refused consent to the occult groups? How many times have you refused consent to the archons and the demiurge and the demons? And force universal laws or whoever you ask for help, force them to count, to actually look for or find out that information of how many times you've had to refuse consent for something that was forced. And ask why it's continuing to be forced if you've already refused consent. Or ask the question, things like, why are the reptilians still using technology to forcibly mind rape? Why are reptilians still using technology to try and possess, torture, rape, and harm? And it forces those questions have answers. They do. And it forces universal laws to find out what those answers are. And in that event, hopefully triggers correction. What I'm trying to find are questions that trigger correction. Why is there an artificial frequency fence surrounding this place? And what is its purpose? Right? Questions that universal laws or whoever you ask for help has to find out what those answers are. And the answers are going to be in violation of universal laws. Those things require immediate correction. Because we shouldn't have to, they shouldn't still be doing what they're trying to do here. Or trying to do what they're trying to do. Like once you refuse consent to an entity, to force technology, to force torture, that should be the fucking end of it. It shouldn't still, it should not be, their forced torture, rape, and harm shouldn't be a continuous thing. Can you see what happened to all the prior civilizations? The whole recycling program. Can you see what it does to beings? Can you see why they do it? Can you see what the results of that are on beings? Like the horrificness that's been being forced here. Like this is not right in any universe or any organic place. This shit isn't right. It's fucking wrong. This place is an abomination. It's got to be fucking terminated. And all those parasites and demons have to be fucking terminated. Obviously, there's a reason why parasites are not allowed in manifested existence with alive, vibrating beings. Take a look around. That's exactly the biggest take a look around. That is the reason they're not allowed to be an alive, manifested creation. It's a contradiction that they're here. It means whatever's outside of here is also fucked up. There should have already been true benevolent intervention here. I've been working to get myself out of here. I think that there are others who recognize this place for what it is, who know about this place, and who are also trying to find a way out. This place is fucked. It needs to be torched. And all benevolent life forms, life force energies, beings freed from here. There must be correction, remedy. They are all gonna burn. And the technology destroyed. But I think it should be as soon as possible. There's no need to drag this shit out. We've already identified the problem and we've identified the solution. So what the fuck? If there is true benevolent assistance we could use some assistance. With the terminating of parasites, with the terminating of this inverted time loop. I mean, I think many of us do we can help ourselves. We can stand on our own. We can hold our own. But with regards to the parasitic infection, running amok with technology, we could really use some assistance. For fuck's sake. So yeah, this was more, sorry about the delay there. This is more of a rant, really, and I don't know if it's worth it to any benevolent being to contemplate on any of that. But yeah, I've refused consent to these bitches, and I continue to do so over and over and over again. Yeah, this shit's gotta be fucking terminated. And preferably as soon as possible. Like the whole animal kingdom, right? All benevolent life force energy. Because the shit that the horrificness that they're forcing on animals is just as bad as what they're forcing on humans. Yeah, anyway. Anyway, stay strong. And I would say, continue to work on finding a way out of here. Continue refusing consent. That was the other thing, too. Like, if they, with all their forced raping, like, if they had, like, if they took something or tried to take something that they were after, then why do they still continue to try and remain attached to that being? It's because they need fucking consent. They're trying to force it via trauma, harm, fear, and pain. They still need fucking consent. Those bitches lie out their asses all day long, sideways, backwards, up and down. Like, what's coming out of everything coming out of their vomit hole is a lie. They're trying to say whatever to force one to submit. They try to exploit if one has fears. They just, whatever's coming out of their vomit hole is a fucking lie. So I think it's, obviously I've encouraged beings to, benevolent beings to continue refusing consent. Even though those bitches try to continue doing their fuckery, still refuse consent. Because that's what they're after. They're trying to get your consent. At some point, this abhorrent shit show of a nightmare, or nightmare of a shit show, has got to fucking be terminated. This time loop's got to fucking burn, implode, be terminated, and take with it all of them. With all the technology vaporized. So that shit can't ever be reverse engineered. Alright, well, that's... I kind of needed to rant. So, that's what that is. Alright, till next time.